by the Montana Television Network. This is the Noon News from Montana's news leader.
Good afternoon, and thanks so much for joining us today. I'm Aja Goare. A standoff that followed a shooting and pursuit in Busbee overnight ended with the arrest of several suspects. The Yellowstone County Sheriff's Office tells us the incident began with a shooting in Busbee sometime before 10 last night. We're told one person was injured. Law enforcement from the Bighorn County Sheriff's Office responded to the scene, which then led to a pursuit. That pursuit took authorities to a home about 3 miles west of Busbee. The Yellowstone County Sheriff's Office tactical team assisted by deploying pepper spray, forcing the suspects out of the house. Authorities detained 2 males and 2 females before 4 this morning. The suspect names were not released. Authorities in Big Timber are searching for a man from the Bozeman area who fled from law enforcement during an attempted traffic stop last night. The Sweetgrass County Sheriff's Office responded to the Gray Cliff area for a report of an erratic driver. That driver, identified as 28-year-old Bryce Arneson, reportedly drove through private property and fences in an attempt to elude the deputy. Authorities began searching for Arneson around 11 last night, but called off the search due to winter weather conditions. They began the search again around 7 this morning, but have yet to locate the man. In other news today, President Trump says a drastic surge of illegal activity left him with no choice but to direct National Guard troops to be deployed along the U.S. border with Mexico. CBS's Angelica Alvarez has more on the proclamation.
President Trump's decision to send National Guard troops to the U.S.-Mexico border has raised some questions.
This is a historically low time for illegal immigration, so it does seem a little strange that we would be sending Guard to the border at this particular time.
The president tweeted this morning, saying because of the Trump administration's actions, border crossings are at a still unacceptable 46-year low. Stop drugs. Border arrests this year are down nearly 13% compared to last year. But March saw a big spike with more than 37,000 arrests. Homeland Security Secretary Kirstjen Nielsen says the March numbers prompted the move.
We are at a crisis point. We'd like to stop it before the numbers get even bigger.
The White House says it's also working with the border state governors to figure out exactly how many soldiers will be deployed.
We're going to send as many troops as we need to get the mission done.
So no numbers.
But no numbers.
Nielsen said the effort would be similar to a 2006 operation when President George W. Bush sent 6,000 troops to assist Border Patrol. In 2010, President Obama also sent National Guard members to the southern border. Once deployed, federal law prohibits U.S. military from acting as law enforcement. They can only act in a support capacity and cannot arrest illegal border crossers. Angelica Alvarez, CBS News, the White House.
And it's unclear when the troops will be deployed or for how long. Back here in Montana, Governor Bullock says no to a contract extension offer from owners of the private prison in Shelby. He says the offer from CoreCivic is too steep. Bullock's budget and corrections directors flew to Nashville this week to negotiate with CoreCivic, which owns the 700-bed prison in Shelby. If the state extends the contract past 2019, it can recoup nearly $36 million to help the state budget this year. But the governor told MTN News Wednesday CoreCivic's final offer looked to increase its per prison payment by about $12 a day, a near 20% increase. The deal would end a $9 per prisoner use fee paid by the state, meaning a net increase of $3 a day or about 4%. But Bullock says the higher offer is unacceptable.
At best, even if we had reached a deal, $15 million of that would have gone to mitigate some of those cuts. And where it leaves us is that we sure as hell shouldn't be entering into a contract that increases 15% for private prison providers at the same time that we're cutting services all across the state.
Republican State Representative Rob Cook tells MTN News the deal means at least $20 million would become available to offset budget cuts. He says rejecting the deal means Bullock is content with budget cuts to state services across rural Montana. Leaders of the Environmental Protection Agency are expected in the Butte area next week to address cleanup issues. Regional EPA Director Doug Benevito and EPA Administrator Scott Pruitt's senior aide are flying in from D.C. to visit Butte and Anaconda. The visit comes after a recent agreement was reached in the cleanup in Butte. They plan to lay out a timeline for cleanup proceedings in Anaconda and discuss a recent health study. A special committee set up to address youth suicide in Butte is releasing some positive news. MTN's John Amy explains.
Butte formed a committee in 2013 to address a rash of teen suicides. But when 2014 arrived, 3 Butte teens took their own lives over a 6-week period. The committee was shocked.
There were about 15 of us in a room at the courthouse looking at each other, scared to death. We had kids dying.
The good news, since that time, the Community Action Team reports that the rate of youth in Butte attempting suicide has dropped by 5% in 3 years. Intervention and training teachers and parents in recognizing suicidal behavior is credited for moving that rate from 17% down to 12%.
And given that 500 adults are now more in tune in what to look for, I think that has had a great effect. We have trained almost 1,500 students in the signs of suicide training.
Officials have been encouraged that Butte had a long run without a youth completing suicide. But that optimism was shaken last month by the suicide of an elementary school student here in Butte.
That little child was everyone's child. We're all affected by it. We're all traumatized by it. He was everyone's child, and it redoubles our resolve to keep going.
Sullivan adds that 12% of youth considering suicide is still too high, and the committee will continue working until that number hits 0. In Butte, John Amy, MTN News.
Thanks, John, for that important report. And the health department has several classes available for those interested in learning how to recognize the signs of suicide. Former Montana Superintendent of Public Instruction Denise Juneau is headed to Washington. In a unanimous vote last night, the Seattle Public School Board of Trustees named Juneau as its new superintendent. She oversaw about 145,000 public school students in the entire state of Montana. Now she's responsible for 54,000 in Seattle. Juneau will be the first Native American superintendent in Washington state history and the district's 5th superintendent in the last 10 years. Still to come on the noon news, Ireland voters consider an historic change to the country's abortion laws. Details when we come back. But first, Ed has our weather forecast. Stay with us.
You're watching MTN News with Aja Goare, Storm Tracker weather with Ed McIntosh, and farm and ranch news from the Northern Egg Network. This is the noon news on Q2, Montana's news leader.